succeeded in is igniting tension and remilitarizing Europe, including Germany, in spite of the fact that the economic and social situation is degrading. But all efforts of this Euro-Atlantic community are concentrated on getting ready for a new war. And Germany, together with France and Britain, are in the lead of this.
This is my video update on this Sunday afternoon, April the 13th, coming to you from Limassol, Cyprus. Let's talk about some news. And let's start things off with the US-Iran talks that took place yesterday in Oman, and the result of those talks was positive. Things went well, according to both sides, according to Iran and according to the United States. The talks lasted for 2.5 hours. They were indirect talks, but the foreign minister of Iran and Witkoff actually did meet and talk to each other face to face. So I'm going to read some statements, mostly from Iran, but the United States is also saying that things went well. Notice how it's Witkoff that is negotiating and not Rubio. There are reports which claim that Rubio was supposed to be at this negotiation, but Iran said, "Don't bother, don't bother sending Rubio. We'll just stick with Witkoff." So let me read you some of what went down yesterday. Iran and U.S. unveil results of nuclear talks. Both sides described the negotiations in Oman as constructive and have reportedly agreed to meet again for real talks. Let me pull up the article here. So Trump wants to make sure that Iran doesn't get a nuclear weapon, and Iran is looking for sanctions relief, some sanctions relief. The 2.5-hour talks were led by Iranian Foreign Minister Saeed Abbas Araghchi and White House Special Envoy to the Middle East, Steve Witkoff. Although the negotiations were conducted indirectly through Omani mediation, the heads of the two delegations, Araghchi and Witkoff, briefly spoke face-to-face in the presence of Oman's Foreign Minister, Badr al-Busadi, after the formal talks concluded. Addressing reporters in Muscat, Araghchi described the first round of negotiations as constructive and held in a very calm and respectful atmosphere. No inappropriate language was used, and the two sides demonstrated their commitment to advancing the talks until the achievement of a mutually favorable agreement from an equal position, the Iranian minister said. According to Araghchi, both sides aim to outline a general framework for a future agreement in the next round of talks. He indicated that the second meeting is scheduled for April 19th, although it may not take place in Muscat. Trump was on Air Force One, and he was asked about the talks with Iran, and he said that things are going okay. He said, nothing matters until you get it done. So I don't like talking about it, but it's going okay. The Iran situation is going pretty good. Positive news. They're going to continue to talk. We're going to probably get to direct talks. So we have the indirect talks. They're going to work towards direct talks. Eventually, they'll get into some sort of negotiation process. It's going to take some time, but we're off to a good start. That's how it looks. So that's the news out of Oman. And how about the U.S.-Russia talks, also with Witkoff? The U.S.-Russia talks, Trump on Air Force One was asked about what is going on with Russia. What's down that way? With Russia and Ukraine. And Trump said, I think that Ukraine and Russia will probably be fine. Trump commented on the negotiations to resolve the conflict in Ukraine and said that everything is going well. The US president also added that there comes a point where you either put up or shut up. Interesting comment from Trump there. You either put up or shut up. But things are going fine. Things are going fine. Things are going really well, but you either put up or shut up. Trump is taking a little bit of Witkoff. He's taking a little bit of Kellogg and Rubio, and he's playing it right down the middle. Right down the middle. That is where Trump is playing it. He has not been able to make up his mind. Do I end the conflict in Ukraine and take Witkoff's advice and go with Istanbul plus June 2024 terms and just end this conflict? We can walk away from this and start doing business with Russia. Or do I take the Kellogg option, the Kellogg plan, Waltz, Rubio, Kellogg, and push for some sort of unconditional ceasefire, which Russia will never accept, and the conflict continues? Which one do I take? That is Trump's dilemma. He will go right down the middle. He'll take a little of Witkoff, he'll take a little of Kellogg and Waltz and Rubio, and he'll come up with something that is neither a solution nor a full escalation. Look at the snail. Oh, there's so many. Look at all the snails. Run, snail, run. Come on. Get a move on. Wow. They're all over. They're all over. Okay. What else are we going to say about Russia and Ukraine? So Levitt, she was speaking to reporters, and she said that Trump is frustrated with war talks, disillusioned by both Russia and Ukraine. U.S. President Donald Trump is disappointed with both Russia and Ukraine in the negotiations to end the war. At the same time, the U.S. believes it has leverage in the talks, according to White House spokeswoman Caroline Leavitt. During a briefing, I think the president has made it quite clear that he is constantly frustrated with both sides of this conflict, and he wants these hostilities to end. He wants the war to end, Leavitt said. According to her, the Trump administration believes that we have leverage in negotiating a peace agreement. The spokeswoman emphasized that the U.S. intends to use this leverage. The U.S. has leverage. Over Ukraine, yes. Over Russia, no. So Trump is frustrated. He is frustrated. Trump is frustrated. Everyone is frustrated with Trump because he's not able to take a decision on Project Ukraine. He's not able to make the right decision on Project Ukraine. Oh, that guy's big. That guy is big. But it's Trump that's frustrated. He's frustrated. Oh, boy. It's a good marketing tactic that Trump is trying to employ. That of the mediator. We're frustrated with both sides. We're not a party to this conflict. We're just frustrated with both sides. You're part of the conflict, man. You are one of the sides. You, United States, you are one of the sides. Oh, man. So, Ukraine is extending the martial law for another 90 days. The parliament's going to approve it in a couple of days. They're going to approve it, I believe, the 15th or the 16th. So that would mean that Zelensky is going to remain as the illegitimate president of Ukraine. According to Russia, he is the illegitimate president of Ukraine. He will remain until the summer, around August. And if there were to be elections, then you would need another, according to the Ukrainian constitution, another 60 to 90 days until you actually hold elections. So at a minimum, Zelensky is going to remain as the presidente, the dictator, as Trump called him. Trump called him the dictator, not me, Trump. He's going to remain as dictator of Ukraine until, at a minimum, November. That will be the earliest that Ukraine could hold constitutional elections once this martial law is approved by the parliament. Novikov Mediterranean restaurants. I know that brand. I know Novikov. Very popular restaurant group. They're here in Limassol, Novikov. So an F-16 was shot down yesterday. And the BBC, I believe I read the BBC, reported that Russia shot down the F-16. The pilot did not survive. This is the second Ukraine F-16 that has been taken down. The Zelensky regime, when this news was first announced, they made it seem as if it was friendly fire or some sort of accident that took down the F-16 and led to the pilot's death. But the BBC and other outlets are reporting that it was Russia that shot down this F-16. So that happened yesterday. And talking about extensions, martial law extended in Ukraine. The Trump administration is also extending sanctions on Russia, US sanctions against Russia for another 12 months. So what does this mean? What does this mean? It means that there will be no sanctions relief coming for Russia, no US sanctions relief for Russia in the next year. Expected, absolutely expected that the sanctions would get renewed for another year, but perhaps also a signal that the Trump administration is starting to understand that any type of a negotiation with Project Ukraine is not going to happen in a day. It's not going to happen in 3 months by Easter. Remember the reports that were saying that that Trump was looking to get a peace deal by Easter. Easter is in a week. The Strana leak, which reported that Trump was looking at an April 20th announcement of peace in Ukraine. That's not happening. So we have the sanctions renewed for another year. I'm certain that the Trump administration and many neocons in the Trump administration view this as a way to exert leverage over Russia. But for Russia, sanctions being renewed is pretty much meaningless at this point because the Russian economy continues to grow with all of these sanctions in place. What did Russia do? What did Russia do to the United States? Well, according to the sanctions announcement, Russia is a national security threat. That's right, it poses a serious threat to the United States' national security. Among the harmful activities ascribed to Russia in the document are efforts to undermine the conduct of free and fair democratic elections and democratic institutions in the United States and its allies and partners. Some of Moscow's other alleged transgressions are attempts to undermine security in countries and regions important to United States national security and to violate well-established principles of international law, including respect for the territorial integrity of states. That's right. Russia does not respect the territorial integrity of states, has violated the principles of international law, and undermined the security in countries that are important to the U.S. That country being Ukraine. Ukraine is of vital importance to the U.S. and Russia has violated this. So the sanctions remain. We did get some tariff exemptions from Trump. Tariff exemptions. It was raining a lot this morning, by the way. Some tariff exemptions for China. Tariff exemptions in electronics, mobile devices, laptops, these types of things. Basically, 23% of what China exports to the United States will now be exempt from tariffs. That was announced yesterday. Trump exempts computers, handsets, chips from reciprocal tariff blitz, still subject to the original 20%. So that is true. The electronics are still subject to the 20%, but the other 130, what is it, 134%? It was a total of what, 154% tariffs that the U.S. put on China, reciprocal tariffs. So all of the tariffs above the 20%, 134%, that's all wiped away for electronics. That's all been exempt. So now you only have the 20%. So the tech bros and the tech oligarchs are going to be very happy about this news. They already are very happy about this news. I imagine on Monday, the markets will reflect the tech bros and the tech oligarchs' happiness. The crypto and Bitcoin is already going up this weekend from this exemption announcement from the Real Fly. This is an olive branch to China deal looms. Yeah, I agree with that assessment. This is without a doubt an olive branch towards China. The problem is that Trump can't contact China so that they can enter into some sort of bilateral negotiation. He can't contact China directly. China's not going to contact the United States. That's for sure. And so what you're left with is the United States wanting to enter into some sort of a talk with China, but they can't figure out a way to set up the talk with China. So what they're going to have to do is they're going to have to find a third party to put some sort of a talk together, set up some sort of a communication, which over time, over the next couple of weeks or the next couple of months, can lead to some sort of bilateral negotiation process, which will also take time, which will eventually lead to some sort of a trade deal, and the outcome will be some sort of a managed divorce between China and the United States. That would be my guess as to how all of this is going to unfold. Of course, the other scenario is that the U.S. does not manage to find a way to speak with China. China does not find a way to speak with the United States, and everything continues to unravel. That is the worst outcome, but also very possible. So we will see where all of this ends up. Monday will be an interesting day. We'll see how the markets react to all of this news. We'll continue to look at the bonds, the bond yields. That seems to be driving a lot of this. And let's talk about Europe a bit, and then we'll get into a clown world. Spain is making a lot of news these days. Spain is talking about using the Russian frozen assets in Brussels so that Europe can fund its MIC, its military industrial complex. Basically, what Spain is proposing is that Europe takes the 250 billion or whatever the amount is, and they spend it on weapons, European weapons. Spain is saying that these weapons can be used to help arm Ukraine as they continue to fight Russia. But we all know that's not true. That is not true. What the the military-industrial complex is doing is, in Europe, is they're saying, look, you may not have the 800 billion, all of the 800 billion to give to us in your gigantic defense fund, or it's looking very difficult to find the 800 billion. So we've got this 250 or 300 billion sitting in Brussels. Why not just give us that money? That's what the military-industrial complex is telling Spanish officials. That's what they're going to tell European officials. And they may just get their way. We are talking about the MIC. The MIC always gets their way. They always win. So that's the news coming out of Spain. I don't think that's a surprise that this money may end up. They may end up stealing this money, and it may end up in the hands of the MIC. No surprise there. Someone, I guess someone left their flip-flops. They left their flip-flops there. Made sure they put the rocks so that they don't blow away. Maybe they left them there last night, and now they're going to come back to pick them up this Sunday. All right, let's do a clown world, and we can wrap this video up. So we've talked a lot about Russia running out of weapons over the last 3 years in this conflict in Ukraine. They've had to remove chips from washing machines. They've had to use shovels. And now, according to the Express UK, Russia is now advancing, or trying to advance, with golf carts. They've run out of vehicles and tanks and all of these things. So now they're using golf carts to advance on the front line, according to the UK Express. Humiliation for Vladimir Putin as desperate Russian soldiers advance in golf carts. The Russian army is said to be suffering difficulties and resorting to strange methods. This article was posted on April 9th. 2025. So where is the Express UK getting this information about the Russian military using golf carts? How about from the Institute for the Study of War? The ISW, additional geolocated footage published on April 7th, shows that Ukrainian forces repelled another company-sized Russian mechanized assault near Sribne, southwest of Pokrovsk, on April 6th, and damaged 3 armored vehicles and 5 tanks during the assault. The commander of a Ukrainian brigade operating in the Pokrovsk direction stated on April 8th that Russian forces have recently begun using more armored vehicles in the area, but have also resorted to using motorcycles and golf carts to make advances. Okay, so the implication is that they're not running out of vehicles. I guess they're running out of tanks. Is that what the Institute of the Study of War is implying here? They are using more armored vehicles in the area, but they are now using motorcycles and golf carts. Shovels, chips, and golf carts. That's the video. the Duran.locals.com. We are on Rumble, ODYSEE, BitChute, Telegram, Rockfin, and X. Go to the Duran shop, pick up some merch, like what I'm wearing in this video update. The link is in the description box down below. Take care.